New music, you gotta let it ride, Raven. Welcome back to Chicago Hockey Radio. It's Wednesday, everybody, and it's a Hawks game day against the Boston Bruins. Justin Lynch, Tassos, Kirkos, Raven Gasser, all here and ready to give you the goods here from the number 11 hockey podcast in the United States right now. How about that, according to Chartable?
Yeah. Everybody up.
Let's go, everybody. Great day of content here for you guys, coming at you for being number 11. It is a good day to do that. Shout out my show, Chicago, or Good Morning Hockey. First of all, I had a couple great guests on today. Dan Glunt, D'Angelo Lou. That was really fun. This show here, pleasure being here with you today, Justin.
Of course.
And Lee will be live streaming the game tonight against Boston. You and him are going to hop on Instagram later, tee it up a little bit. That'll be fun.
Little pregame show. I like it.
20 minutes before the game, and then you and I will be back at it tonight to do the postgame show. So
that's right.
An absolute whirlwind of a day. We hope you stick around and join us for all of it because it'll be great. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. We are starting a new series for like this week and next. We're going to do CHR's Chicago Blackhawks best of top 10. We're going to do hits, goals, saves, moments, all sorts of fun stuff. And yeah, today we're going to do hits. So we have top 10 Blackhawks hits. Maybe we'll call this top 10 Blackhawks hits after 2005.
Yeah, because all the time I think they're all like 2010s. So yeah. Yeah, I like that.
This might be like from 2010 onward because a lot of these are more of recent memory to us, and we'll gladly take suggestions of other hits too. But this is first up in the series, so we're gonna hit on that. Just a quick thing. We're not gonna like spend 10 minutes on it, but we're gonna run through some of these, and you can check us out on social media. We're gonna like clip all these up and put the clips of the hits in there, and it'll be fun and cool. So if you want the full gist of it, you'll be able to get it there. Hawks lose to the Maple Leafs on Monday, second half of a back-to-back, searching for a win tonight against Boston. I have some thoughts from the Leafs game, and because you guys crushed it on the post-game show also, should mention.
Thank you.
That was very entertaining, and I appreciate the night off. But yeah, I don't know. Did you have any other wrap-up thoughts from that game against the Maple Leafs? And then I will interject with my thoughts too.
Well, I think the positive is I think 5-on-5 it was one of the Hawks' better games actually. Like I think they played well, just execution right needs to be better. But I think if they play like that against the Bruins tonight, like they should win. And this should be a game that against the Bruins tonight they should be able to win. Having said that, I mean the Hawks, we've seen it a lot this year where they play well at times, but just haven't been able to come away with the dub. And I think the Leafs game is a prime example of that. Power play could accomplish anything, and I think the Leafs are just a better team, and we saw that. But I thought they actually played a pretty solid game. I think Lee was probably more optimistic than I was. Still only one goal to show for it. Offense still dried up, but I like that Luke is at least keeping the line combos the same, which he's done so again tonight. So yep. I like more continuity. Yeah.
No, me too. I had some takeaways, obviously. The Hawks really took it to the Leafs in the second period of that hockey game. They came out strong. Toronto was bad, honestly. Mm-hmm. Like they were not good, and it was a 2-0 game, and then it was 2-1, and then it was 3-1. And I don't know. It just felt like if you were the Hawks, you had that chance to catch a team that has historically played poorly against you for some reason, even though they are a much better hockey team on paper and on the ice most nights. You had the opportunity to bite back and you didn't. And I thought the Hawks played a good game. It's just the lack of killer instinct, was kind of that. Fraser Minton is also a dog too. This is all right. You get Lee exposed me as a Leafs guy, so I'll give my Leafs takes out here now, since it's relevant to our show. Fraser Minton is a dog. He's still young though. He's not going to be on their playoff roster. Anthony Stolarz is excellent. Like sneaky. The Maple Leafs have one of the best goaltending tandems in hockey right now. It's not like a one guy is one of the best in the league type, Shesterkin, Hellebuck, Vasilevsky, but you could put either him or Joseph Wall in there, who's really played well lately. and is going to play tonight when they play the Nashville Predators. But yeah, I don't know. I think they sneaky have one of the best goaltending tandems in hockey right now.
It's one of those prime like 1A, 1B tandems that works, right? I mean, and Stoller's, I didn't realize like he's up there. Like you look at the goalie stats, like save percentage, goals against, like he's like top 5, top 10. I didn't realize just how good of a season he's been having. So yeah, I think maybe some teams have slept on that tandem and it's been working for them, right? They've got the goaltend, the defense has been better. And like I said in the postgame show, I just think Craig Berube is just a breath of fresh air for that team. I think he's made a big difference there. And
also on the first goal. Also on the first goal, I just want to say, like, maybe don't leave Austin Matthews that wide open.
That
like,
was
maybe know that 34 is behind every single one of your players and is, nobody is within like 10 feet of him, Justin.
I think the Hawks forgot he returned from injury. I think they thought he was still out or something.
I don't know if they thought that was Fraser Minton out there or something.
Yeah.
But,
that just can't happen. Yeah.
They thought that was Pontus Holmberg or something, but like, I don't know how you leave Austin Matthews that wide open.
You got to have an eye on him at all times. And
I think it was Ryan Donato that was like sleeping on that play, and Nolan. It was Donato and Allen on that
they
play.
got exposed. I think that's like the first time. Like Nolan Allen, I've always praised him for not really making much mistakes this season. But yeah, that was definitely a welcome to the NHL moment there for sure.
Yeah. And I didn't think Soderblom was bad at all. I thought he was fine. And but I didn't think Bedard was very good. He had that one. Who did he put into the boards with the move?
Oh yeah, that was funny. Yeah,
that was a cool moment.
I can't remember who that was.
Other than that, he wasn't good. Like did he do anything for? Like, was there a moment in the game where you were like, oh, this is his moment? Like no.
Well, there was that one moment, I mean, where he like tried to take down like 4 Leafs at once when the Hawks had a delayed call out. But yeah, that didn't even work out. But yeah, I'll admit, even as a Bedsy Glazer, like I really had nothing to glaze from that game. It wasn't one of his finest, but I think his whole line wasn't really that good. They did move Bertuzzi up there, which I do like that. I think Bertuzzi should be a good complement to Bedsy, so give him some time up there. But yeah, first game of that line wasn't that great, but hopefully they'll bounce back tonight.
Yeah. Tonight should be a different story. Are you surprised that Mrazek is getting the start tonight?
No, because I just don't think Soderblom has he played consecutive games all season. I don't think he has. And Peter's definitely like the starter for this team. I think Soderblom, the way he's played this season, could warrant playing consecutive games. I just don't think the Hawks. I still don't think Luke Richardson trusts Arvid, even after the season he's been having. Just after last season, just the amount of games they've been playing Peter, the workload he's had. I just still think they have much more trust in him. So I'm not surprised he's playing tonight. Also, yeah, I know Bedard last season has first career goal against the Bruins. So hopefully we can see some. Hopefully we can run it back today. Although it is at the UC, that was at TD Garden. But yeah, we'll see.
All right. Thoughts tonight other than Mrazek? Boston Bruins in town. They won 3-2 in overtime against they're on a run here playing original 6 teams. I said it on my show that they played Detroit yesterday, but and then I'm just being reminded now too that they played Montreal in their game, in the Centennial game on Sunday. So yeah, they're on a run here playing original 6 teams, and they doubled up the Habs. They beat Detroit, and then now they are playing Chicago. I will say they're getting the bottom half here of the,
a little stat padding. Maybe Sacco's helping out a little bit there, but I think sometimes there's that bump, right, for new coach initiative where like players respond to the firing. I'm sure a lot of them probably weren't happy with Montgomery being gone, so now they want to play well. I guess maybe they're playing pissed off right now, but they're looking a bit better. And again, this is a game they should win, but they also are on a back-to-back. So for the Hawks, like that's the reason you want to pounce, right? You're a bit more rested going into this one. And I'm still not sold on that team as a whole. I know they've been playing better, but I still don't think they're that good. I think it's a game the Hawks should be able to come away with, but I mean, we are dead last, so I don't know if there's really any team you could say that for the Blackhawks, but no, I think it should be a good one though. TNT too, so yeah, bright lights.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll make it a much better game. Yeah, I don't know that Boston. Like, I think we can say that Boston's not what Boston was. Like, not even close. I mean, we've talked about this before on this show, but like, it's not even close. Like, there's no Patrice Bergeron walking into that locker room, or David Krejci even, or Zdeno Chara, you know what I mean? Like, those guys are long. There's no Tuukka Rask, although Jeremy Swayman is pretty close sometimes, but he can't do it all by himself. He can't do it all by himself. The next best defenseman on that team after McAvoy is Brendan Carlo. Like,
Yeah, that's rough.
and that's, and I know that Lori kid has some nice touch with it. We'll see tonight, what they do. And, Hampus Lindholm is, I know a guy too. And he'll probably get named to Sweden's team here later on in the day. But, yeah, I don't know. This Bruins team, like the depth up front just doesn't do it for me. Marchand is getting older.
Mm.
Pasternak's great, but somebody's got to pass you the puck too. And,
Yeah.
Pavel Zacha is a fine player, I guess, but like he's a third line center on a Stanley Cup winner, in my opinion. Like not a second line center, a third line center on a Stanley Cup winner. And I think they thought that Elias Lindholm was going to be David Krejci.
Yeah, he's a
And
2C. He's not a 1C. It's not working out at all.
no,
No.
no. But I think they thought that when they signed him. And part of me thinks they thought Zadorov was going to be Chara. Or at least
Yeah,
like Chara light. Like, didn't you get that vibe though when they made that signing? That
a little bit. I could see it. I mean, he's a freight train out there, good physical defenseman, but he's just not a he's a 4D,
Yeah.
Maybe even a third pair on better teams.
Yeah. I don't know. So there's a lot to figure out besides the coach. And we said that when they fired I always want to say Bruce Cassidy, but Jim Montgomery.
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar situation, right? I think, a good coach being the
thing.
scapegoat for problems that aren't they're making.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Don Sweeney also, he's the GM of the Bruins. Somehow he was named GM of the Canada Four Nations team, which I don't really understand that. I feel like there are probably better options than Don Sweeney to construct that team. So yeah, Bedard's left off the team, which it looks like he will be.
Doug Armstrong? I thought Doug Armstrong would have been the GM of the team.
I think he's like the president of maybe ops or something. It's him. It's Armstrong and Sweeney, so it's one of those two. Probably both of them constructing the roster. Yeah. But yeah, it does sound like we'll get the official roster later tonight. But last night, I think a lot of analysts and TSM are we kind of already know the Canada roster. It does look like Betsy's been left off of it. So I'm disappointed in that. I'm not really shocked by him. Surprised. I know he hasn't had the best season, but I still think you got to have Bedard there. I mean, he's freaking Bedard. I mean, if you want to give him a trial run for the 26 Olympics, but anyway, we'll see later tonight if that's the case.
All right. Let me get this out of the way because I wanted to ask you this on Monday and then I totally didn't. I teed it up and I've been doing that on my show too, just like teeing things up and then totally forgetting to bring them back up later on when I.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah. Should the Hawks have been in on David Jiricek, considering that package that Minnesota got him for? Like, it wasn't a lot, and the Hawks have way too many draft picks. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was actually they got back a little more than I expected, to be honest, on Columbus's side. I think Minnesota they give a bit more. I mean, Juracek does have tremendous potential, but he's a D-man. It's like the Hawks have so many defensive prospects where it's like if you could have got him for a reasonable price, I would have been in him. But seeing that return, I think the Hawks would have had to give up a pretty hot prospect, high draft picks. I don't really know if that's a move I would have made. I think I would have traded, more for a young forward prospect or young forward, established forward, versus a defenseman. I just don't think we really need to go for another defenseman right now. I think offense is this team's problem right now, both in the pipeline as well. I think we got pieces, but not really. I think we could use another forward there. So I probably wouldn't, to answer your question.
I have to strongly disagree with you here for a second because the package was what? It was Damon Hunt, who's like a B-level defense prospect, maybe. He's been playing down in the AHL a little bit. I saw him play. He's all right. He's all right, but he's not, David Jiricek. He's not David Jiricek. And, this is a guy, I know it's been a struggle to get him going at the NHL level, but he was a 6 overall pick. That doesn't, and I think when he was picked there, a lot of people were like, oh, that's a steal. You know what I mean? Like that. And I know it's like, there's a fine line, right? Between, give me a great player, give me a great player picked in the top 5 between them and like Philip Zadina, you know what I mean? Who like, remember when Detroit made that pick at 5 in that, Raven, can you pull this up? What draft was that?
Zadina, was that 2018 maybe?
That was the draft that Brady Tkachuk was picked in.
Yeah, 2018, I think.
Because Brady Tkachuk went 4 to Ottawa, and then Zadina went 5, I want to say, or 6 to Detroit.
Didn't work out. No.
But everybody was like ripping on Ottawa for picking Brady Tkachuk, who scored 8 goals that draft year, and then like applauding Detroit for getting this player in Zadina, who is a steal, right? But I think even now, like, and I know that wasn't even that long ago, but like every single season, the scouting of these players gets more and more refined, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
More accurate. Yeah.
so like people know like whether a player can play or not, or what they're going to be, like I don't know. Some people have really good senses of these things where they can kind of tell. Um,
Kind
what?
of a funny note on that.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Juracek, the draft pick they used to get him, was in the Seth Jones trade. Right, the Hawks acquired Seth Jones from Columbus.
Oh,
They sent Boquist. They sent the first. I think two first. I think the other one was Cole Sillinger. So the Hawks, Boquist is gone now. Juracek's gone. The only piece of that trade that's left for Columbus is Cole Sillinger. I think it's fair to say the Hawks won the Seth Jones trade. Maybe not the contract after that, but everybody was clowning the Hawks. But I don't know. That trade's not looking so bad for us right now.
so
That's
okay.
kind of funny.
Let me put a bow on this. So my long stress point here was, okay, you know that David Juracek, maybe there's a chance that he couldn't be, like, he's not going to live up to his potential, right? There is a chance at that. However, what do the Hawks have this year? They have the Maple Leafs first round draft pick, right?
Yeah,
Which really, truly, in the range of the draft,
it might be more of a late second, the way the Maple Leafs are playing.
Yeah, maybe, or the Maple Leafs could lose in the first round again, and it
Yeah,
could,
it could be a
what I mean?
mid-first,
And the Minnesota pick could end up being lower than the Maple Leafs pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be high, you know what I mean, or higher, right, in the draft order. So, like, why wouldn't you package like the Maple Leafs first round pick, one of the bevy of second rounders you have, and like a B level defense prospect, like, I don't know, like Ethan Del Mastro, right? And you send that to Columbus, and you bring in David Juracek, because who are you going to use that pick on? Like, I know you're probably going to use it on a forward, right? But like, aren't you going to try and just like get a player that like has the potential, like a David Juracek too? Like,
Yeah, I see your point. I think I just would have saved that for something else. Maybe trade up in this draft to get another high pick like we tried in this past draft, right, with Ivan. Or if our first ends up being lower than we expect, we could use that to trade up. I just look at our decor, right? It's like I know it's a big if right now. Everybody's going to work out, so I guess you get another piece there. There's more, I guess, confidence there. But it's like you got Kevin, you got Artie, you got Vlasic, you got Rizzel, you have EDM, you have Allen, we still have Seth until 2030. If you make a trade, I think it's got to be for a young forward, not a defenseman. I just don't think that's our problem.
I think you
right
could
now.
do both. I just think the high end there with Juracek is high enough that you should always try and bet on those guys, especially when you're dead last in the NHL. Like, you should be betting on those guys and seeing what you could extract out of them, because maybe there's a day that you look to move off the Seth Jones contract, right? And then what does your right side look like?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Because I don't think Connor Murphy's long for Chicago.
No, he's not going to be here past next season. Yeah,
you got Lev Shinov, but after that, like, why not have a David Juracek in there and try and see if you can get him in the mix? And maybe he's even more NHL. He's probably is more NHL ready right now than.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You
could slot him in that defense right now. That is the thing. I mean, you have to send somebody down, but that'd be easy to do. I think it would help out that D a lot, especially. I don't think Seth's gonna be out that much longer, maybe 2 weeks.
Moving the puck, like things like moving the freaking puck up the ice. I don't know.
Yeah, I see your vision.
I'm a bit harsher on this. Like, if you're the Blackhawks, you have all this draft capital. You're going to acquire more of it at the deadline when you move off some of these veteran pieces that
like
you have
Taylor
on expiring deals. Like, you should be,
even Ryan Donato.
unless you're Kyle Davidson and you don't want to be in the job when all these guys you're picking are actually reaching their potential at the NHL level, because Chicago's not going to let you sit around for 6 years and lose and wait for these pieces to hit. It does buy you a little bit of time as a general manager, but it can't buy you, eternity here. Right? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think he's still got time here. He laid out a 5-year plan when he was first implemented. We're on year 3 of it. So, I think so. I see some dialogue amongst fans saying we've been rebuilding for ages. We really haven't been. I guess we weren't rebuilding, before Davidson. Bowman was, kind of putting it off. So we're effectively year 3 here. These things take time. So,
I've heard.
I think Davidson's got security right now. I don't think that's really a concern for him.
All right. Update on Seth Jones. Richardson says he's hoping Seth can join them on the trip next week, but doesn't know. Right?
Yeah, hoping he'll join them, not necessarily play on the next
Okay.
next week, but maybe 2 weeks from now, week and a half. I think we're like halfway through that timeline, which hasn't changed. So that'll be nice. I think even Hawks fans who aren't a big fan of Seth, like even have missed him during his absence. I think it's easy to take what he does for granted for this team, or just the ice time he logs and the minutes he logs. And he was having a good season too, so I definitely miss him. I think that D misses him, and the team misses him. So hopefully he'll be back sooner rather than later for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so here. That would be a big boon. All right. Are you expecting a win tonight? Like, I'm honestly expecting a win. I put it in the notes today. This should be a win if you're the Blackhawks.
I agree. It should be. I think I should be expecting a win, but nothing's really a sure thing with this Hawks team. I feel like I've said it a lot of times. Like I think even the Leafs game, I know it's a different situation, but I was kind of expecting a win that game. I think they played well. I think they deserved to win, but it just didn't happen. There's been a lot of games like that this season, so it would. But I think if the Hawks do play the way they did Monday, I think and they will come away with the victory because the Bruins are not nearly as good of a team as the Leafs at this stage. So same lineup, which I like. I mentioned earlier, and then Mrazek in. He's been I think just having that little rest, I think a reset will help out him as well. Get back to the goal he's been for the most part this season. So yeah, and I think a big game too from that top line would be nice. Let's see like a multi-point game from Bedsy, right? Maybe a couple goals tonight for him. Hopefully, he takes that omission from Canada personally and kind of goes on a run here. I like to see that.
Nothing's official yet. Nothing's official yet.
Nothing's official, but it does look like that's gonna be the case. The Hawks have a lot of former Bruins too. I noticed this. Like they got Nick Foligno, they got Taylor Hall, they got Craig Swift, they got Pat Maroon. I think there's like two more former Bruins in there somewhere
Did
too.
you hit on all the former Leafs too on the team?
Yeah, I think the Hawks have what, five former Leafs or
I think
something.
it's like 5 or 6, dude. It's
Haw-
crazy.
Hawks have six former Bruins. It's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
So hopefully they could show up today, right? Maybe a bit of yeah, a bit of motivation there, right, for those guys for sure.
Um, what else? There was an Every Shift episode that came out today.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Or
It was pretty
yesterday.
much entirely on Connor Bedard. There was a really funny clip. You remember the Red Wings game when Bedsy tripped Kaner? He was totally chirping the ref and like even dogging at Kane a little bit. Like that was a soft call, man. He told Kane to stay on his fucking feet. So I thought that was pretty funny. Just seeing like our current Blackhawks beauty kind of dogging our king, our former king Patrick Kane there. So that was pretty entertaining. I mean, he was also at the Bears game too, him and the Hawks. So that was pretty cool. I think just a good episode overall. Pretty entertaining. It was fun to watch. Just kind of see more into kind of Bedard's like kind of outside of hockey, for 20 minutes. Pretty interesting. Just see his mindset and all that. And he's hard on himself, Bedard. Like even we talked about that in that interview after the Canucks game. Like he puts a lot of this team struggle on him. I get he's our best player, but it's like, dude, you still even during this so-called slump, which I hesitate to call it that. He's still been our best player. Not every game, but I think for the most part. So I don't know. I like that he's hard on himself, though. I think it's a good sign in a player like that. I think you should be. You should expect better. I think he has the right mindset. And I think he's coming out. He's starting to come out of the slump now. I think he's going to just keep kind of getting better from that aspect. So I think he's due for sure. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch it, but I will probably after this show. After we
It's a
wrap
good
up.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I recommend it. Also, the first episode for the Winter Classic, the Road to the Winter Classic series is dropping, I think, 6 Eastern tonight. So we'll get even more of an exclusive look, behind the scenes, Hawks and Bedsy too. So looking forward to that. Blues as well. So that should be pretty entertaining too. I think that drops around the same time as the Canada and USA rosters drop. Yeah.
All right. What else? Anything else really? Should we do these hits before we do the NHL hour?
Yeah, let's get to the hits. I'm looking forward to this.
Okay,
Yeah.
so going forward, maybe these will be ranked maybe more like, is this 1 to 10? No, this isn't really 1 to 10, this list we have here.
Yeah, I think they're just in order.
So we didn't rank these hits 1 to 10 in terms of size, but these are our top 10 hits. Justin, feel free to jump in at any point that you want here. But maybe I'll read the first 5 and you read the next 5. But
sure. Yeah.
You have Duncan Keith on Victor Arvidsson in the playoffs. That's an awesome one.
That was a big one. I remember watching that as a kid. A lot of those playoff games, there were some very physical moments like that. Keith was a dog, man.
You have Brent Seabrook on David Backes against when Backes was on the St. Louis Blues in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, 2013-14 season. Seabrook got a charging major for that one as well. That was a big boom.
Sieb's another dog.
Yeah. Then there's another Seabrook hit on Corey Perry, 2010 regular season. Anaheim Corey Perry too.
Blackhawks legend.
Yeah. And you have the Jonathan Toews goal after the hit on Mikael Granlund. That was a great one in the playoffs against Minnesota in the second round. That was 2013-14.
Toews underrated physical player. He could dish. Yeah.
Bit of a controversial one here. At our fifth hit here. Connor Bedard on Patrick Kane. How do you feel about that one?
What a barn burner of a hit that was. Just really laying out Kaner. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely amongst the biggest Hawks hits of all time right there.
All right. You got the next five?
Yeah, we got a married host son, Dustin Byfuglien, in the conference finals in 2014. That was a heck of a series, man. I know the Hawks lost it, but that was absolute cinema. This is kind of a controversial one as well. I think Brett Conley and Tanner Kuro, 2021. I think he got suspended for that. I remember like Kuro was out for a bit there. He was also a former Blackhawk as well. We got Ben Eager and Rick Ripien of Vancouver, 2009. I don't know if that was the playoffs or not, but I know they played him. No, actually that wasn't because that was 2010, 2011. So, but yeah, Hawks Canucks had a big rivalry back then. Nine's a pretty fun one. We got Jonathan Toews hit on this random kid in this Hawks camp. Y'all probably seen the clip before, but you haven't, you'll see it. It's pretty funny. And then the last but not least, we got Big Buff, Dustin Byfuglien. You got to get Byfuglien in there. A big hit on Chris Pronger, 2010 Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good list. Definitely some of these definitely deserving of being in the top 10 here for sure.
Definitely a list of 2010 and after from us, but that is
bias.
Recency bias, yes.
Yeah.
Feel free to send us suggestions of older hits that ring a bell to you and rung a bell to others on the ice. But yeah, that was fun. We're gonna do goals. We'll probably spend a bit more time on some of these goals. Hits are a hard one to say. I mean, you know, the Brett Conley one on Tanner Kuro, he was suspended 4 games for that one. So and that one was, I think, the most recent one on our list here. Yeah, that was 2021. So that was the most recent one. Well, I forgot that Brett Conley was on the Hawks as recently as 2021 too.
Yeah, very forgettable tenure there. Yeah,
that was a bit of a shocking bit of research when doing this, but that was fun. The goals and moments one, we'll probably spend a little bit more time on each one and make it more difficult for Raven to clip up. But what are we gonna say every time there's that was a big hit? You know,
there's always so much you can say about that. Yeah, it's hard to
rock them. Yeah, exactly.
Laid the boom.
But yeah, sending more hits that are older than 2010 here, and but we definitely covered a lot of ground. That the Duncan Keith one on Victor Arvidsson, the first one I mentioned, that's probably that's probably one of the toughest ones on that list in my opinion. But
that's up there. That's like an 80s 90s hit. I mean, you'd see hits like that every game, just different era. But yeah, very old school hockey there. Yeah,
super old school hockey. So. We are going to take a break here. Shorter show today, just with all the content that we have here coming out and all the fun stuff from Chicago Hockey Radio coming to you live and in color. So a bit of a shorter episode today of the pod, but we're going to take the quickest of breaks here on the live end of things. If you are watching currently, we're going to take a really short break, and we will come right back to you with a little NHL talk. 4 games are on the go tonight. Keep it here. Told you we'd be back soon. Welcome back to Chicago Hockey Radio. Justin Lynch, Tassos, Kirkos, and Raven Gasser here, NHL Hour. Coming back from a really good Hawks Hour. That felt good. That was a good session there. I feel light after that one.
Yeah, no, definitely plenty to discuss today, and yeah, it's easier when this team gives us content, right?
Yeah.
We don't have to ramble about a bunch of nonsense. Yeah.
4 games in the NHL tonight, like I said before the break. 9 tomorrow. We'll tee up a little bit more this evening for everybody, and also we're gonna dig into the Western Conference a little bit here. But some other stuff I feel like we should mention. Some of the stuff I talked about on my show this morning. Good Morning Hockey. Thank you to everybody that pops over there and hops into the discussions over there too. Patrick Laine returning from injury last night, scoring a goal.
Scored a goal too.
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. Montreal wins that game 2-1 against the New York Islanders. Nick Suzuki in overtime. Thoughts on Laine? Anything on Laine?
I just think having him back for the Habs is so big, right? I think just his absence the last 2 months, I think that was a big part. That addition of why Habs fans are going into the season a lot more optimistic. It had been a tough season for them, similar to us, but I think having him back on laps could have had a big, scoring boom there. If he could just be, half the player that he expected to be, that'd be huge for him. But gotta take some time to get back into it, right? I mean, he missed most of last season as well, so it'll take some time to shake off the rust, but I still think he could be, a good top 6 producer there, especially in the power play as well, which I believe he had to go on. So yeah, I think just good to see him get the board too. I know he's gone through a lot, so Caps fans definitely behind him. Good to see it.
Yeah, the other big story from last night, I would say, is the Johnny Gaudreau ceremony and his parents there and Meredith there, and being named the first star of the game, and Michael Backlund and Rasmus Anderson bringing his father out there at the first star thing. That was really really cool, really powerful. The pregame, the puck drop, the bench there made of the hockey sticks. I don't know. We've talked about Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau on here quite a bit, but I just it's tough. And I spoke to Dan Gallant from Hockey Fights this morning too, who's Edmonton based, and as bitter of rivals as Calgary and Edmonton are, both as cities and as hockey cities, and between the teams, like that was, that was felt everywhere. Clearly, I don't know if you had any, more that you took away from that or anything that you saw too, but
no, it was a cool tribute. I mean, it's still tough to digest. I feel like I still haven't fully digested it. It's not right. Yeah. I mean, hockey, especially I was at the Columbus Hawks Columbus game on Sunday, and it wasn't the same. It felt like Johnny should have been out there. I mean, it's not the same without him. We all miss him. But yeah, it's just good to see the hockey community. I guess the positive, it's good to see the hockey community come together like they have. It's been good to see. Yeah.
Right. What are you looking at tonight? I mean, we've talked enough about the Maple Leafs here on this show. But so they'll take on the Predators in that one, who continue to struggle. Maybe they'll poke into our Western Conference discussion a little bit, but it seems like the game of the night is the late one, or I mean, I guess they're both 9 o'clock starts here Central, but Dallas, LA, in LA tonight. That's probably the most, contentious matchup between these two. I don't know, right? Like,
clearly Hawks Bruins is the big matchup. 2013 Cup final rematch. I'm just kidding. I'm home cooking. You're right. I mean, I think in terms of just looking at it objectively, that is probably the best game. The Kings they've had a much better season than I expected. I mean, I wasn't really sold them going to the season, but they looked, if anything, they looked better than they have the last couple of years. I mean, if they did face the Oilers in the playoffs again, I still think the same thing would happen, but maybe this team could finally get over that hump. But yeah, the Stars, if they've been playing better lately too. And yeah, that should be a good matchup for sure. I think that's the second TNT game or the first one, so that's a pretty good back-to-back there. And yeah, it should be a pretty fun one. Yeah.
What do you make of the Golden Knights right now? I mean, just they win 1-0 in Edmonton last night, or against Edmonton. They were at home, but Aiden Hill pitches the shutout. Samsonov's a little rocky, but it doesn't even really seem like Hill's their guy. So as long as Samsonov can give them okay goaltending in case of dire emergency, they'll be all right. I don't know. But I mean, where do you want to start breaking down the Western Conference? It feels like we should start maybe there. I don't know. We could talk Dallas, but I feel like Dallas and Vegas are the two teams that are right now. I know they're 3 and 4 in the conference, but they're the big dogs, right?
Yeah, I mean Vegas right now. I mean they're first in the Pacific, second in the conference, or third in the conference, I should say. Yeah, I know a lot of people had Vegas pegged to be the team that made the playoffs in the West that maybe fell out. And that's not looking so hot right now. I mean they look as good as they always do. They always find a way, Vegas. They always do. So yeah, they've been the strength there. The Pacific Division in general it's been fascinating. I mean, the Oilers are fifth right now. I mean, who would have thought that in December? Oilers fifth. The Flames are somehow still ahead of them. I'm not sure how they're still 13-9-4. Like, I really don't know how they are. I mean, watching them, it's like they're not really that impressive to watch, but they just find a way. And yeah, I mean, you got Kings and Canucks are kind of in similar spots there as well. That division's pretty up for grabs. And the Sharks have been cooking lately. They won like three straight games.
Yeah.
And the Ducks are 500. They're playing 500 hockey in their last. I mean, I thought the Central would be the better division of the two this season, but I don't know. Pacific is a underrated. It's a deceptively good division at the moment, at least.
Yeah. I agree with you there. Do you have any thoughts about, like we've talked about Winnipeg. I don't feel like we've maybe given Minnesota the shine that they deserve for leading the division right now, and Kirill Kaprizov for being as good as he's been. I mean, like I don't know. Maybe we're not giving the Wild enough credit. We've given the Jets a lot of love, though.
They're not only first in the conference, they're the Minnesota Wild. They're first in the NHL right now. I did not even realize that. And yeah, the Jets after that historic start, it hasn't been that hot since then, has it?
Nope.
I mean, they're 18-8-0 now, and like, what are they in the last 10? They're 3-7-0.
Weren't they like 16-1? Weren't they 16-1?
I think so. Now they're 18-8. So it hasn't. I mean, I think we knew that was unsustainable, but just the fall off since then has been a bit alarming. It's like two different stories there, but we'll see if they can snap out of that funk. And the Stars are right behind them too.
3-7 in their last 10.
Yeah, that's rough. So, and yeah, the Wild have passed them. Yeah, they're playing good hockey, man. I mean, it's hard to believe we beat that team at one point. We lost the last time, but we did beat them in overtime, and that's a good team there. I think maybe I haven't given them enough credit because I know going into the season I wasn't that high in them, but they've sure made me look stupid. We'll see how long they can stay up there. I'm not sure I don't think they're going to finish the season where they are. I don't think they're going to be the best team in the conference, but I do think they're going to be solidly playoffs for sure. But we do know in the Wild, I think historically, once they do get to the playoffs, it tends to not go well. They tend to be the Leafs of the West. So we'll see if they can change that narrative this year.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it feels like this could be a bit of a different situation for them because, I look now and it's Billy Guerin in charge. It's not Chuck Fletcher.
Yeah.
This is really now like Billy Guerin's team. And, we talked about the David Jiricek trade already, but
that was a good move for them.
Like if you think about that, like the fact that I know you're not the, Alexi Lafreniere, but Brock Faber, he's only 22, right? And then you bring in Jiricek and you got, they're going to be learning from guys like Spurgeon and Brodin and, you've got these players, you got Zeev Bouillon, who you picked, who's gross, just unbelievable.
Yeah, they've got a really strong core developing there.
I cannot believe he kept falling and falling and falling. There were rumors that day of when Anaheim took Beckett Seneca with that third overall pick. There were rumors of them picking Zeev Bouillon.
Yeah, I saw that, pick. And that would have shocked me as much as that pick did. I think it shocked everybody.
No,
and you can make the case he's the best defenseman. I hope he is. I hope it's already. But you can make the case he's going to be the best defenseman in that draft. Even.
Yeah.
I mean, he's that dynamic.
Yeah. You steal him. Rossi's good. I don't know if you have arguably like who's the best goaltending prospect in the sport right now. I guess it's Askarov.
You could argue.
Right?
Yeah, you could argue Wallstedt's up there. I mean,
Wallstedt, Kosa is really turned like Kosa's looks unbelievable. Yeah. So I don't know.
I think just at the Wild, a lot of people wrote them off this year. It's like, oh, it's not going to be until they get that cap situation, until those contracts come off the books where it's like they're really be competitive. But it's like they've proven them wrong this year. I mean, they're working the best of kind of a tough situation there at the salary cap. So that's pretty impressive too.
Yeah. Eric Senek's one of my favorite players to watch too.
That is a great two-way player. Definitely Kopitar light. Yeah.
Yeah. Sneaky seventh in the Western Conference right now too is the Flames, who have hung around and they're 13-9-4. They beat Columbus yesterday in that really emotional game that we mentioned, and Dan Vladar and Dustin Wolf are holding it up.
That's been a great.
I'm pumping the Dustin Wolf for Calder thing. I'm starting that. I mentioned it to you. We talked about this a week or two ago, but now the train is officially left the station. Like
he's got to be in the talk now. I mean, it's like him, Macklin, and Michkov. I think those are the three big dogs at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, with the Flames, their leading point producer is Nazem Kadri with 16 points. 16.
Well, the last time we talked about the Flames, it was Rasmus Anderson. So I feel
they made some progress there. He's second with 15, but I don't understand how they're doing this. I guess it's just they're getting good goaltender. Defense has been good because like they're not scoring a whole lot, but just good structure, right? Yeah, I mean, it's like they're executing on that defensive structure where we're not. So different situations, obviously, but they got players here. You know, I think it's maybe a better roster than people give credit for, and
Oh,
maybe
it
this is the way
definitely
they
is.
maybe this is the way they should be playing. Maybe similar to the Wild. Not maybe we didn't give them enough credit going into the season. I think everybody expected them to be a tanking team. Maybe they are. I don't think I still don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but I don't think we can completely write them off. You know.
I
Yeah.
said this to you. I said I heard it from, I think it was Steve Dangle,
Yeah.
that there's no team in the National Hockey League right now that is gunning to be bad,
Yeah,
right?
that's fair to say.
Like
Nobody doesn't feel
even the
like anybody's
Hawks,
tanking right now. Yeah,
even
no,
the
we're not.
Hawks, like they
Like we're
don't want to
def
be
yeah.
bad. This is not
No,
where they thought they would be.
no. I mean, yeah, Davidson said it. Like I think he thinks, we've been playing better, but just the results haven't come yet, right? But the Hawks, I mean, the way this roster is constructed and the way Richardson has his team playing is not the way, you're not gunning for a lottery pick the way, he's kind of running this team. So and I think they are due for some more wins here, but yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like Chicago would be one of the few teams that would look to like be selling pieces off their roster, but there's not really a ton of teams looking to get worse, like everybody
No.
wants to be better. If anything, there's not
Mhm.
even the Sharks, like they don't want to get worse. I know there's like Mikael Granlund trade talks and, Luke Cunnin is probably upping his trade value there. And,
Mhm.
Wallman too, who they got for literally nothing, right? Wasn't
And
it?
he's been great there, right?
Yeah.
He's up there in terms of production. Like I think he's already almost eclipsed last year's full season at the Wings in terms of career highs. So yeah, I mean he's been an anchor on that blue line there, which I think going into the season looked kind of sus. But like I think when you're scoring as much goals as they are, it's like you don't really have to have that great defense, do you? So they're making it work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Will Smith started to cook too, which he had a bit of a slow start. Macklin's been great. I mean, a lot of those young guys like Eklund as well. I mean, they're fun to watch. Those Sharks team. They're definitely. I feel like that's the way a rebuilding team should be, right? Fast, young flying offense. I like that. I feel like somebody should be taking notes. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Got the agree boys on here today. Just
Yeah, we don't have Lee here to disagree with everything. I'm just kidding.
yeah, we don't have Lee here to stir the pot and just try and bug me. So what about the Hawks Winter Classic opponent? New coach in there. It's been okay.
Mid, yeah, very mid.
But they're
I
gonna
think
they're gonna be a lot better now with Montgomery behind the bench. They're still not a good hockey team, but he's gonna pull more from a lot of these guys, I think.
Yeah, it'll take time for to kind of see it come to fruition, but I do think you're right. I think like they will be on the right track. I think they have a solid roster. Like I think they should be. They should be a playoff team. Like when I look at that team, like that's a team that should be in the mix. And they are. They're not. They're definitely in the mix. But we'll see if they can. I mean, who are they going to pass though is a tough thing, right? I mean, I don't know if they're going to pass. I don't know if I don't think they're better than the Avalanche. I mean, do you think they're better than the Avalanche? I don't know. I
So,
don't think.
like, I was gonna the next like because it's like, all right, we're talking Western Conference here, and you look like I'm looking at the conference standings, but let me look at the wild card ones just to kind of see.
I
You
think they
know,
could pass the Flames.
that's what I'm telling you. Like, I was gonna say, like, okay, out of Edmonton, Colorado, and Nashville, who's like, or well, I wanted to say between Edmonton and Colorado, who's most likely to miss the playoffs? I think the answer is
Oh.
Colorado.
Yeah, yeah. I still think they're both going to make it, but yeah, of the two, I mean, Edmonton's not going to miss. I know they've got the
No,
slow start, but that's not going to happen. There's no way.
but I think Colorado could miss the playoffs here if they, they figured it out. They embarrassed the Buffalo Sabres yesterday. I don't know how you go up 4-0 and lose the game 5-4 in
Well,
regulation.
that's
But
Buffalo Sabres hockey for you. They find a way.
yeah, I'm on the Sabres train. But this is West talk. Yeah, I like the Blues though. I think they could make the playoffs here. Right? Kyrou looks good. Holloway looks really good under Jim Montgomery. Like he's going to get a lot of runway here. Is Broberg back in the lineup? I have no idea. I don't
Oh,
think
it's a
so.
good
I think he's
question.
still out. But when he comes back, I think he's going to get a lot of responsibility from Montgomery too. And Kyrou, Thomas, like these guys are going to just play free, and Braden Shen's going to do his thing. And you never know, man. Like Colton Parayko's a really good defenseman. Jordan Bennington, people give Jordan Bennington a lot of flack for not being good, but he's now like the St. Louis Blues all-time wins leader. And, it doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon either. So he's just going to continue to pile up that record for a while now.
He's just so hot and cold. Like he's such. I mean, it is the case
But
of
he
a lot of
wins.
goaltenders, but he is such a confidence guy. Like when he gets going, like he can be very strong. But then when he loses it mentally, woof. Yeah,
But he's fun. Like he
he's
like
irritating.
that's what
Yeah,
won him the job, Like that's what
yeah,
like that whole run. I think about that St. Louis Blues run. Like, do you remember the "Do I look nervous"
yeah. Of
clip?
course. How could you forget that?
Like that was unreal. And
Well,
like
they were
he
dead last in the NHL until they called him up and he went on a insanity run. It's like I remember watching Binnington. We used to go to a lot of Wolves games. And like I thought he was good, but I would have never imagined him being like, an elite starting goaltender, winning a cup. So he definitely proved me wrong. And I think just continues to prove a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I long and the short of it, I like St. Louis. I think, that it's Winter Classic. Hawks might be walking into a buzzsaw a little bit. But
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I hope they can put on a good performance. I also hope it's a good game. It is one game. Like even if we are, hopefully we're not still in dead last NHL by then. But if we are, it's like I think you got to separate that game from the rest. It's a whole different experience. I think teams play different too in that kind of setting. So, but the Hawks historically haven't been very good at that. To be fair, they've never won the Winter Classic and only have one outdoor win to show for it. But hopefully they can reverse that trend. It would be nice to have a positive, for sure.
is Utah's like kind of what we expected. I know I probably not. I might get DM saying, "Hey, you picked Utah to make the playoffs," and yes, I
Yeah,
did.
I did. I actually
I did
they
too.
and the way they started the season, it looked like I was going to be right, but it's been kind of rough since then. And they look more like the Arizona Coyotes right now than the Utah Hockey Club. So hopefully they can get it figured out because I do like that team. I think they're fun to watch. I think there's a lot of I like
Yeah.
Dylan Gunther. Like I like a lot of those guys like Logan Kuliak. It's a fun team, but yeah, I mean right now they're 10, 11 and 4. They're kind of falling out of it right now. I think they gotta go on a run here if they want to get back in it because I have a hard time seeing them getting back in it. To be honest, like who are they going to pass here is a tough thing. Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think. Utah. I mean, what else? Nothing. Not okay. So let's talk about the Preds, and then we can bookend this
They're
Western
still
Conference.
they're still only one game ahead of us. I mean, they've won the least amount of games in NHL. 25 games, they have 7 wins. Like,
Is there
woof.
any chance that they turn this around?
Um, I mean, there's always a chance, but to
No,
answer your question, I don't think they're making the
you don't think
playoffs.
they're
I
going
think
to.
it's too late. I don't think this team could go on. I don't think this team has a 2019 Blues insanity run in them. I just don't think. I don't think they're as good as people hyped them up to be. Um, I mean, I'm pretty sure I said they're going to make the playoffs for the season. So but I'll be honest. I was never fully sold on them though. I mean, I know they made all those big moves, but it's like chemistry's such a big thing, right? It's not. It doesn't always magically work out. So I'm watching them. I just don't think that's a team that's shown they're capable of getting back in it. I don't know. Like, I've never been impressed. I think this is legitimate. The problems they're dealing with right now. I'm not sure Lee would agree if he was here. Probably be like, no, they're going to be in. But I don't know. I don't think so.
I
Yeah,
don't know. They don't have the center depth. They don't have. I'm sorry, but you're not winning a lot of hockey games with Tommy Novak as your first line center. Like
yeah.
that's just
That's an issue.
not gonna work, even if
No,
he's being flanked by Marchessault and Stamkos, who are old.
neither have been impressive.
No,
Yeah,
no.
no.
So did you? Oh, there was a Stamkos clip that was going around, and it was sad, dude. Like it was really it was a bummer. It was they were talking. He was talking about like they asked him about like not being able to score, and it was like 30 seconds without him saying anything at all. It was absurd. I don't know. I feel so bad for
Yeah,
him.
I do feel for him. Patty Kane, Detroit, too, similar situation. He's been out with injury, but I just think seeing these two legends kind of struggling like on bad teams right now is not really what you want to see. You want to see them fighting for cups at this stage of their career, having fun. Yeah, it's rough for sure.
Yep. And then, languishing in last, the Chicago Blackhawks. All right. What else? I mean, I don't know. I don't really have anything else tonight. Anything happen? Sidney Crosby get traded?
Did you see that clip of Crosby? I think it was before the Flames game. Where he's just totally locked in, like he's just staring like into
Oh, yeah, I
space.
did.
Like that was pretty interesting. I think that just shows how he feels about this Pens team he's on right now. Realize, I mean, I actually played a bit better lately, to be fair, but I think he's realizing, oh, if I'm going to stay loyal to this organization, I'm never winning another cup again or sniffing playoff hockey. So at least not anytime soon. So I do feel for him over there, but he's still playing good hockey and. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny.
This from the Stars too. We should mention Tyler Sagan will miss the next 4 to 6 months after having hip surgery. He had 20
That
points.
sucks.
He
He
had
was
20
playing
points in
so
19
well.
games.
He
Yeah.
was looking like prime Tyler Sagan for a while there, so that's too bad. Tough for the Stars, but they're a good enough team where it's like they'll be fine. But just sucks more for Tyler Sagan because he was playing so well. I think as good as we see him in a while. So I think the last few years he's kind of fallen off a little bit. He's still productive, but just not the same player. But he was looking like it this year, like he had a new jump in his step. But that's tough to see.
Yeah. Phil Roenick's also going to miss the next 8 weeks because of a lower body, I think. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Well, that just puts more on Quinn Hughes, which he'll be fine. He's your Canucks all-time assist leader amongst defensemen, so one of the best in the
stupid.
league. So yeah, he'll step up. He always does. Yeah.
Yeah. Sagan one's brutal. That's a tough one. That's a tough pill to
Yeah,
swallow.
is he even going to be out? Is he even going to be back for the? Because at that timeline, he
The
might not even
earliest
be
of
back
that
for.
timeline is April, and the latest is June. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
so it's going to be tricky for you to get back for the playoffs, and it's like at that point, like would even be because sometimes when you're getting back those timelines, a lot of times ends up being longer than that. Because like just because you're clear doesn't mean you necessarily want to jump back into game action, especially if a hip surgery. That's a tricky one. Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna cut it and call it there, because we have a lot of other stuff to get to. So,
Actually, one more
do you
thing.
have
Do you
one more
mind?
thing? Yeah, yeah.
Again, I know it's not official yet. We'll find out later tonight, but it does sound like, from what we know so far, that Tage Thompson and Cole Caulfield
Oof.
could be left off the USA Four Nations roster in favor of guys like Trocheck and Kreider. I will say, if that winds up being the case, like that sounds like 2016 World Cup of Hockey all over again. Like I don't know what you're doing there. Like just send your best players. I don't get it. I know you're going for like this role situation, but Canada seems like they may have some weird omissions too. We'll find out later again, but I will say if that's the case, I think that's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I want to wait until it's official, but
Yeah, that's fair.
You and I were talking about it off air, and I literally said it. If that is the case, and Trocheck and Kreider make the team over Tage Thompson and Cole Caulfield, I maybe understand a little bit more, but I don't really, because you have so many guys that can put the puck in the net on this team that you're probably going to
Yeah.
play ahead of Cole Caulfield. But if you take Chris Kreider and Vincent Trocheck over Tage Thompson, I don't know who at USA Hockey needs to be told that this isn't like the 2002 World Cup of Hockey, like, or 2000 whatever. I don't know. This I don't even know. It frustrates me. It really, really frustrates me, and people wonder why, and this is supposed to be the team. This is supposed to be the generation. Whenever we got that next version of best on best hockey, this Four Nations thing doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. Nobody's gonna, really gear it all up to say, hey, we won the inaugural Four Nations face-off. But like this is all with the Olympics in mind in 2026 in Italy, and I get it. So this was supposed to be the era where it was a total abandonment of that 2016 mess of a hockey team. Like that was an absolute mess. And you finally have the players to do it. In 2016, I will say, you didn't have the players to do it like you do now. Like this is...
USA Hockey's come a long way. They're at the same level as
Patrick
Canada.
Kane was the only player like this. And now Patrick Kane can't even make this team. So... but the Trocheck and the Kreider inclusions are mind-boggling to me. Leaving off a player like Tage Thompson, who ripped two into the net last night, like, what are you doing?
His size, just his power forward, like he brings more than just offense, right? Like, why would you not want a guy there? Yeah,
is Chris Drury the GM? Or no, he's not, because he wants to get rid of Kreider. So Chris Drury's clearly not the GM of Team USA.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna see Jake Trouba on there too. Like, my God.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, we'll see later what's the case, but sounds like Turbo, for Finland might be the only Hawks rep. Vlasic and Bedsy might be snubbed, but we'll see. We'll find out later if that's the case. Hopefully not.
I won't lie to you. Vlasic's not really a snub. We could.
Yeah, I'm home cooking there. I'm home cooking.
It's not really a snub. All right, we'll probably break it down a little bit more, and if anything crazy, you'll probably hear about it from us on
We'll include in the post game,
on the live stream and live on Instagram and post game and pre-game, post game, whatever. You got it all from us. Okay, we're gonna cut it there. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, please, at Chicago Hockey Radio on YouTube. That is where you find all this good stuff. And if you are an audio listener, you should check out and see what our faces look like, and check out the video, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend, sign in on your work email, like I said. Um, who else? Tell your brother, tell a cousin, tell your sister, tell your mom, tell your dad about Chicago Hockey Radio. Tell a Blackhawks friend in your life. Tell your college roommate. I don't know, whoever you got, and make sure you follow us on Instagram too, and leave 5-star ratings and reviews. It helps us out greatly, and we feel the love whenever you guys do those things. And make sure you message us on Friday too, because we'll be taking questions for our Friday mailbag. We've got a couple questions already sent to us, but send more. We'll keep sending them in, please, please, please. All right, that's it. You'll get more of us today, so this will not be the last you hear from us, but we will catch you later.
Awesome. We will be there.